So you just did a very in-depth interview with Esquire, your 600 days of house arrest. I want people to read this article, the deep dive. They must read this article. And yeah, this tweet right here, we wanted to put that up. Now, does it make you, do you feel jaded at all because of what has happened to you thus far? I mean, how do you still find the spirit and the energy to keep on keeping on?
I don't know. I think it comes from my mom, honestly. She always fought for, people who were hurting. I grew up in a relatively, privileged upper middle class background in Florida, but my mom taught me to always care about civic society and larger issues. And I just always had this feeling inside that things were wrong, and obviously over the course of my career, I think they've gotten worse in many respects, particularly the last few years in terms of the amount of corporate control, the amount of inequality, police repression, racism, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of problems in our society right now that have always existed, but I think they're more acute now. They're playing out in a much more severe way. And I just want to work on those. I get up every morning despite the difficult situation I'm in. And by the way, they also disbarred me without a hearing. There's so many things that have happened to me. But I get up with a spring in my step because I like doing my best to tackle these problems and sort of bring attention to this, because I think I'm in an unusual position. I have an unusual perspective given my lived experience of having to be put in prison as a human rights lawyer in the United States of America. And Nina, what's interesting, I could ask you the same question. I'm sure you have your stories based on your history. We're all together in this, and they keep trying to divide those of us who do the work, and I'm really dedicated to making people connect with each other, connect the dots between the climate movement and the police reform movement and, the labor movement. I've become very good friends with Chris Smalls of the Amazon Labor Union. We're going to be doing some speaking together. And I think it's really important for people to see that these different aspects of a justice movement can work together to achieve the kind of society that we want and have been, long denied for way too long by corporate control over our society.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And yeah, Christian Smalls is one of the best, and I'm glad to see you two coming together. I'm signed here. I'm gonna have to have you back for a part 2. One of the things when you say they disbarred you, I'm thinking to myself, well, who the hell are they? How can they disbar you? And all of that's linked back to the power that Chevron has, but it makes absolutely no sense, the things that you're saying. I'm sure that most people will not believe that this could happen here in America, but it happened to you. And what you and your family had to endure, I remember seeing photos of you and your son. Just gut wrenching, it really brought tears to my eyes. People don't always have to die physical deaths, Steven, to have things taken from them. And what you and your family have endured and what you continue to endure, but you're still standing, you're still fighting. It is nothing short of inspiring. I don't know how you do it.
Thank you. You're so kind. And I've been inspired by you for many years, Nina, watching your great leadership on so many issues. I just, it's hard to explain, but I will say this, the solidarity is critical. Yes. When I was in detention, at the beginning, I felt very isolated, and my first lawyer said, hey, you really shouldn't tweet. You shouldn't really do anything. The judge will just get more mad at you. And so I tried that for like 2 months, and the judge is like, I'm not letting you out. So I'm like, I'm gonna just bring this to the world as much as I could. And literally, I started to accept any invitation anyone asked me to speak, even if it was a kindergarten class, no kidding. Yes. I spoke at law schools, universities, high schools. And little by little, I fought my way back. Well, like you started to retweet me, Susan Sarandon, and others who started to realize how crazy this was. Yeah. So in an odd way, Chevron and Judge Kaplan's overreach to try to really politicize the judiciary to destroy me ended up backfiring, and I'm now as strong as ever. I'm more determined than ever. I'm as encouraged as ever. And I just want to thank everyone, you and Marianne Williamson, so many people, Katie Halper, so many stepped up to draw attention to this. And it gave me and my wife, Laura, and my son, Matthew, so much encouragement to the point where we actually, I think, grew better and stronger as a result of the pain they tried to inflict on us. So thanks to everyone who stepped up. And by the way, people want to help and read that article, the Esquire article you posted. It's a pinned tweet on my Twitter, which is @SDonziger, and I post a lot about what we're doing. We're still fighting.
Yes.
You know, we're gonna be moving with a lot of new initiatives, and we like to have people as involved as they can. You can sign up on our website at freedonziger.com, and you know, we're building our campaign as much as we can.
Yeah, freedonziger.com. Please join in. That's what I was gonna ask you, Steven. What else can people do to help? And you shouted out some of the greats. Love, Susan, Marianne, Katie, and so many others. We are in your corner. You and your family sacrificed the most. And for us to be able to just back your play was an absolute honor.